Hello and welcome to Science. We're going to finish off the different parts of the brain, which should then give you enough information to have finished all the 2E sheets. So we're going to finish off with the medulla oblongata. So I'll just pop up a quick diagram of that. Spinning around nicely. As you can see, it's right at the back, at the bottom, connecting the brain to the spinal cord. It's quite a primitive part of the brain, and it's often referred to as like the autopilot. And this part of the brain controls a lot of the automatic functions of the body that you don't think about. So your heart rate, for instance. Also, when you're breathing naturally and you're not thinking about it, that's controlled by the medulla oblongata. Some of the other things that it does are some of the larger reflex actions, not the reflex arc, where you would take your hand away from something that was very hot, but some of the larger reflex actions like vomiting or sneezing, that sort of thing. As I say, it connects the brain to the spinal cord, lots of bundles of nerves coming up through it. And that's all there is really to say about it, that it's sort of the automatic control part of the brain. So what I want to do with the exam style question is to have a look at a trickier one. So it's a longer style answer question. So the question is, Matt sets off on a bike ride. Explain how his brain helps him to complete it. And that would probably be between 4 and 6 marks. Have a go at it, and then I'll give you some hints. Okay, so because it's an explanation question, you're going to have to say what it does and why it does it. So it might be an idea to break down the question into the different parts of the brain that we've studied. So we'll have the cerebral cortex, the cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. You'll have to say which functions needed to cycle will be for each, controlled by each of those different parts of the brain. So what the marks would actually be would be something like, because you're doing exercise, your heart rate will need to increase to successfully deliver oxygen to the muscles. Equally, the breathing rate will increase. Those will be controlled by the medulla oblongata. You'll need to see. You can't just cycle around with your eyes closed. So that will be being controlled by the sensory area, and the broad coordination of muscle movements also would be part of the cerebral cortex. Memory of how to do things and where you're going, all that will be in the cerebral cortex. The more information you put in, the better quality your answer would be. And then finally, the fine muscle control and your balance would be controlled by the cerebellum. Taking all those bits together, if you were using correcting, if it was a 6-mark question, you'd have to use your correct English and really lay out your arguments correctly. And that will get you 6 marks. If you got 4 of those parts, including the whys, then that will get you the full 4 marks if it were a 4-mark question. Cheers.